feel bad for that dude.
And then everyone's like, get out!
Like, what?
There's the rest of the response coming in. All the people were out of that building, and the firefighters that got injured were rushing in to try and save the structure. So they were trying to take it a step further and hurry in fast. This is a hardware store full of aisles and aisles of paints and explosives and everything else. And when the oxygen got to it, it flashed on them. And I'll try and find out for you if everybody's okay or not. Okay, they just vented these. A lot of these houses are going to go live when these guys turn this on. It's going to have stuff in it. This is a dangerous part because as they open up openings and oxygen is coming into the building, and it can add the rest of what it needs. You can see there's a bigger plume coming out now. Now water, water, water. Heat, fuel, and oxygen, so they're trying to get rid of as much of all those factors as they can.
Charlie, you want it up a little more?
That whole side of the building is a hardware store. It's just full of paint and explosives and everything else.
I don't know, but that's where the fire was starting.
They tried to go in there and it backdrafted on them, and one of them actually went down on the ground. And
I said one of them went down, yeah. The funny thing is they got the truck.
this is all fuel burning.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just moved to another location.
I guess I will continue to bring you coverage. This is in my hometown. This is my hardware store and my grocery store, both. I'll be getting this right to you in a minute. I talked to one of the firemen and the firefighters, and they said that no one died. None of the responders died. I know that we have injuries because I saw the injuries and heard the injuries. And with fire injuries, you know, there's no good injury that comes from a fire. and they're all painful, and it's the worst kind of pain. So I hope that they're all okay. And that's all that we can do, is just kind of pray for them. Here by the other lumber, we're not gonna let it catch on fire or anything, but that's the problem. We're in the middle of, it's already dry and hot up here, and we're in the middle of a town that's just recovering from burning down. So they actually don't need any more fire trauma at all. It is Memorial Day, and just as a fact, the flag is still flying, and it is okay. This is the whole lumber yard in the other half here. And those are the big ashes. Now it's venting up, and we're hoping that it doesn't light any other fires in this whole entire town, because you can see the water cannon. So we have walls collapsing. We have explosions. Watch out for shrapnel. There are tanks, and there's a lot of paint, a lot of different products in here, so we can actually get missiles coming out in any direction. You can see the size of the embers that are floating around are huge. And we're hoping that this now doesn't go land somewhere else, because it's getting carried hundreds of feet up into a column. This can be a real start to a nightmare. They're trying their best to keep this under control. We have CAL FIRE here, we have engines and people coming down from the surrounding things. We have the workers that were here running the street and the road. We have highway patrol responding. We already have paramedics responding to the first responders. But even in the best, it's a little out of control. Fallout like 3 blocks away. We're actually having fallout from this in big chunks like 3 blocks away. It's coming all the way over and raining down. This community is strong community. They're MiddleTown strong. They've already been through this. Their whole town has burnt down. The whole town burnt down. This is one of the few structures that didn't. It's one of those towns where there isn't 3 people that don't know one of the volunteers or hasn't had their home burned. So fire is a big part of this community. Big explosions now. A lot of times it's when water gets on stuff, it goes. Okay. We got some serious black smoke, but the fire just dropped down on it. And they're just getting ever more cannons on this puppy. So we got multiples. Still got one coming over from the top there. Getting different engines on it, everybody's responding. This is how a community should be. We got people on all sides jumping in there. Without respirators, I mean even with respirators, I have a stupid mask on, a handkerchief is not working. And I tell you, the life of a firefighter's lungs must be have a certain limit to them. See how much water they're getting on it. So when you think that you can stop something with a garden hose or whatever, I mean, these are full-on water cannons stopped in the city's mains and stuff, and the fire just, you know, it just never feels like enough, no matter how much water you got. There's direct hose into the fire. You can see they're almost equal sometimes, I mean. It's so hot it can turn water to steam before it gets to land. That's the insane part. And it is a gusty day, so we keep getting wind gusts. There's the main street that you could see before where we were at, and you can't see people. So there's all the town surrounding. And luckily there isn't a lot of large cinder going up anymore. But I see there's some, but it seems to be kind of falling out pretty heavy and close. Kind of coming for me now. Let's stay tucked in this corner, but it is blocking out the sun. You can see the street is dark now, and this town has been through this over and over and over. We got wind picking up right now, so it's driving the hotter embers farther from the actual source. Everybody's got to kind of keep their eyeballs out and make sure, damn it. You see the wind picking up. Damn it, we're gonna lose our locale right now. Okay, it's over. We are in it. Okay, the wind is blowing it off of us, but unfortunately that means that all of a sudden we're getting 30-mile-an-hour gusts. We need to actually make sure we put it down. You see it blowing the smoke in the column now low and strong into everybody's houses, so you can get secondary fires. That's the sun. No extra fire. This is the exact driving force that made the Cobb Mountain fire so bad in MiddleTown before, is we get wind coming up in the evenings and the afternoons. You can have a whole issue happen here. There's my truck trapped in here. So many people. This is the main hardware store and the main grocery store, so it's still a town where that's split and it's in one building, and you know, a large percentage of the population works here, has worked here. It's kind of like the main the main store. It's kind of the heart of our little teeny tiny shopping center. So everybody you see standing around, and half the responders are people that have spent a lot of years either shopping here or actually working here and stuff. Living here at times when they didn't have homes because their homes were burned down. We're getting white smoke and a lot less flames all of a sudden. That can be a really good sign. You see the billows slow down, the black billows. So they aren't having as much heat pushing them up. You got heat, fuel, and oxygen, so as they start to cool it down, as the fuel starts to get saturated, and they can't do anything about the oxygen. Okay, knock on wood, but it made it through, and if you see the flag in the background, it's still standing, so it's still there. You see the water pouring off of the roof over here. That's the danger. You got chunks like that that aren't even burnt all the way to white that were floating around this far out. You can see how far I am from the structure and how dry of an area we're in. The whole town looks like that. I know that we did have injuries today. We saw the injuries occur. So the deal is this fire is going to get put out. The building will get rebuilt. Time will move on, but lives have been changed today. We've had human beings that have been injured. We don't know how bad, but fire injuries are not a joke on any level, even from the lightest like friction burn all the way up to horrible. You know that. So, you know, thank you. You witnessed heroic efforts and the cost that can make sometimes. And we don't know who they were and how bad they are, but our hearts go out to you, and I don't know. That's overwhelming, the cost of sacrifice. Responders here from, I see towns, there are 4 towns away that showed up for this. So they tend to swarm. We have smaller populations and everybody just runs when they can and does whatever they can. But people got hurt, so it wasn't a win at all. Power's on it now. So it's a ladder raised up, and there's a person up on there that has to climb up there and hold the hose and aim down so they can get height and penetration from above. That's literally a person up there hanging on to one of those fire hoses at the top of a ladder that's not against the building, it's just extended. So if you have any sort of vertigo, all there is below is the burning rooftop of a building too. That's what that person is looking at. Okay, so what I found out from the officials is that the one person that got injured, the fire responder, has been transported, and there was no other injuries besides that. So we have one, and they're being transported, but they're kind of tight-lipped about the actual extent of the injury because it's personal information. So that's what I know. We're gonna go ahead and cut this one, and then I'll get it out to you guys. Spread out. This is your moment. Catch the wind. Tell everybody it's okay. That's what that flag is for.